Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Auset-heru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask An Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, pass it on to somebody else who might like it too, and please drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And don't forget to wait until the end of the video because I'm going to read out two of my favorite comments from previous videos, and one of them might be one of your comments. Also, underneath this video is all my information. If you want to get a reading done, if you want to ask me a general question, if you would like to become a patron on Patreon, if you would like to send me a gift, if you would like to send me a donation through PayPal, all that information, including my social media information and my email, is underneath every video, okay? All right, guys. So we got a good question today. This person said to me, what is your opinion on couples living together before marriage? Now, when I was a young lady, this was a big deal. When I was a little girl, 5 and 6 years old, if you were living with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, it was a big scandal back then. Oh my God. They called it living together out of wedlock. Because remember, I grew up in a predominantly Catholic family. And then as I got older, some people branched off and became Baptist. I have a couple cousins that are now Muslim. People kind of branched off and did their own thing. But when I was a little girl, everybody was Christian or Catholic. And my grandmother raised her whole family in the Catholic Church, sent the kids to Catholic school. I went to Catholic school. My sister, my brother, we all went to Catholic schools. A lot of us did, out of my cousins too. So when I was young, you didn't live out of wedlock. Oh, no, no, no. The women in the family would always say, a man won't buy the cow if the milk is free. I heard that statement so many times you would not believe. So it was considered to be a bad thing because number one, the man might not ever marry you. And number two, you were seen as living in sin. That's what they called it. They're living in sin. They're living together and they're not married. They're having sex. Oh, you know, it was a scandal back then. But then over the years, it became less and less so. You know, people started to be more open-minded, and I think really people started to understand, and this is my opinion, that it's really practical. Back in the old days, you didn't live with the person before you got married. First of all, like I said before, it was a sin. But also, if you think about it, those marriages were very different than what we're experiencing now. Depending upon what culture you were a part of, it could be extremely different. But the thing about it is that, you know, nowadays, I think it's intelligent to live with your partner before you get married. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I have been engaged several times. Several times. And one of the things I noticed that I've lived with certain people. I've lived with, well, they lived with me or we lived together, one or the other. And what I noticed is that when you live with somebody, it's different than when you just hang out. It's totally different. I mean, your boyfriend or your girlfriend could come over every single day. Y'all could have sex, eat, have dinner, clean up, spend time together every single day. And this person eventually goes home. They might go home for a couple days, stay with you for a couple days, whatever the case is. But it is totally different when they live with you. Totally different. Because when a person can leave, it's certain things that they might not do. Like, for example, I'll give you a good one. Cutting your toenails. Now, those of us who get pedicures, we don't cut our own toenails. But let's say that this is somebody who didn't. So one of the things that I noticed was one time, I was, this is a really crazy story. Well, it's not really crazy. It's kind of gross if you ask me. But anyway, I was in this relationship and me and this guy were living together. This is when I was a young girl. Now, before we started to stay together, and mind you, it didn't last long. We hung out all the time. I mean, he was there all the time. He was there like 5 nights out of 7. He was there all the time. But then when he moved in, and it was only temporary. It was supposed to be temporary, and it was temporary. And when he moved in for a few weeks, I noticed that things like the toenails, he would get in bed after taking a shower, and he would sit on the edge of the bed and clip his toenails. And I only noticed this once or twice, but it grossed me out. It grossed me out. It was just like, ew, do you have to do that in there? You can't do that in the bathroom. And then on top of everything else, he wouldn't clean up. So he cut his toenails and then leave the clippers, you know, on the nightstand, and his toenail clippings all over the floor. So I gotta get up. I gotta get up and sweep the floor, you know, stuff like that. And that's something that didn't happen before. He was doing that wherever he was living at before, so it wasn't something that I saw. You see, certain things you don't see, that you don't even think about, because they're doing those things somewhere else. I remember the same person, oh my God, got into my bed one night. Now, mind you, I had just got brand new sheets, brand new comforter, a whole bed in a bag kind of set. Somebody gave it to me for Christmas. And I put it on the bed, and I thought it was so beautiful, and I was so happy because that was like my first matching set. I just got my new house, and this was like my first matching set. Everything else was like stuff my mom gave me or stuff that I had forever. And this was a brand new matching set that I got for Christmas. I put it on the bed. He comes in the room, y'all, and gets in my bed and starts wiping Bengay on his knees. Now, mind you, if you in pain, you in pain. You gotta do what you gotta do. He had bad knees, so you gotta do what you gotta do. But why would you get in my bed with my brand new comforter and start rubbing Bengay on yourself? So now my bed smells like Bengay. And he had an attitude that I said something about it. I was like, you know, like, could you not do that in the bed? Could you sit in a chair and put on your Bengay, you know? And these are small things. And some of y'all out there probably like, oh, that's not a big deal. But it is a big deal to me. So depending on what's a big deal to you, you know, you never know what that person might do. So I recommend living together before you get married. I think you should live together before you even start planning the wedding. I think you should take 6 months to a year to live together, cohabitate, pay bills together, you know, do all of that stuff together, go grocery shopping or whatever the case is, and see if you are compatible. Because I'm telling you, some of these things are small and some of them are deal breakers. Some things people do will gross you out to the point where you don't want to live with that person. Another thing, the company that people keep. At one point, I was living with this young lady. Well, she was living with me. So she was staying with me. And one of the things that broke us up, and the reason why I put her out, was because she kept bad company. I kept coming home, and she had these people at my home that was just not cool. I'll never forget it. And remember, this was around the time when I was really starting to get into spirituality and really just the beginning phases of it though. And I was starting to have to see things. And I didn't always understood what I saw, but I was seeing. So I came home one day, and you know, she did this all the time, had riffraff in the house. And I came home one day, and the guy who was sitting on the couch with her ex was there with their child. And he was pretty cool. I liked him, actually. He used to come by, drop the baby off. He was a really nice guy. He would go to the store for us and stuff. He was really cool. She was using him, but he was really nice. Anyway, so he was there with his friend. And I looked at his friend, and his friend was covered in blood. That's all I saw. I just saw a flash of him covered in blood. And I was like, oh my God. So I went upstairs. I went upstairs immediately. And she came upstairs, and I was like, yo, who is that on the couch? And she was like, oh, that's so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, he has blood all over him. And she just stood there like looking at me like she was stunned. And I was like, there's blood all over him. I don't know what it means, but I see blood all over that man. And she was like, oh my God. And I was like, what? And she said, he got arrested and got out last night. And I said, for what? Assault. He beat his girlfriend bloody, apparently. And got arrested and had just got out. And then he saw his friend, which was her ex, and you got this fool in my house? Like, are you serious? So we broke up because of a number of things, but one of them, the last straw, was that this gentleman, well, one of the last straws was that she would have these people, I ain't even gonna call them a gentleman, these people in the house. So you need to see what kind of person this person is. And if you're going to marry them and have a contract with them, then it would be good for you to live with them and see. And it should be on a trial basis. And you shouldn't do it forever. It should be like a year. And if after that year, maybe 2 years, if y'all not compatible, then y'all need to not get married. Because that time frame is going to be like your training ground to show you, can you be a partner? Marriage is a partnership. It's not just a love. People get it twisted and they think, oh, it's a declaration of love. And it is. It's a very spiritual, loving thing. But it's also a partnership. It's a business arrangement. And if your partner is doing stuff that's detrimental, or if your partner is, got gross habits, y'all might not make it. So I definitely do think that couples should live together before they get married for a certain amount of time. Now, after that time period, I'm going to say at most 2 years. If y'all not getting along and y'all not, it's not meshing, it's time to move on. I wouldn't live with somebody indefinitely. And I see a lot of couples make that mistake. They're together 10 years, 15 years later, still living together. Sometimes they got kids, but they've never gotten married. So if marriage is what's important to both people, then I would say no more than 2 years. And if y'all not compatible enough after 2 years to get married, it's time to move on. All right, now let's check out the comments. Nisha N said, I need an Aquarius friend. I need somebody who gets me. Oh my God, Becky, I love this because I agree with this so much. I never felt understood until I started hanging around other Aquarius. Before that, I thought I was just weird. I thought I was just strange and I was the only person that did these things, because that's how people would act. And now I know that people treat all Aquarius like that. Maybe not every last one of us. We're not all as eccentric as the other, but many of us do have commonalities like every other sun sign. And I've noticed from talking to other Aquarius that that's the only time I really feel understood. I can feel heard from other signs, but not understood. So I agree with you on that, Nishia. Jimmy Samuel. Hey, Jimmy. Jimmy said, thanks, Queen. You were bang on as to how people view Aquarius. People give us the business, don't they? They really do. And I mean, the biggest thing about Aquarius is if you meet a good Aquarius, like a happy Aquarius, a positive Aquarius, Aquarius that's at least trying, to live their life in a positive manner, you're going to meet, in 9 times out of 10, a pretty decent person. They might not be around a lot because a lot of us get accused of being aloof, but you'll meet a pretty decent person. But if you meet one of those dark, low vibrational Aquarius, hoo-ah, they give us all a bad name. Y'all know I talk about that all the time. All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So thank you for joining me, and come back soon because I have so much more to say. See you later.